Gather round, children of the dust, and listen to the story of how the dust itself was born. Before there was a clock to tick, before there was a heart to beat, there was only the deep. It was a silence so heavy it had weight. It was a darkness so thick you could feel it against your skin. But in that silence, the master architect was dreaming. He wasn't just thinking, he was preparing a stage for a love story that would last forever. Before we step into the first morning of the world, do something powerful. Like this video, leave a comment of gratitude below, and subscribe to this channel. Don't just watch a story, become part of this tradition that honors the Creator. Now, let the light break. Sound, a sudden thunderous crack like a mountain splitting open. The first day, the conquest of night. The architect stood on the edge of nothing. He didn't use a hammer. He didn't use a blade. He used a breath. "Let there be light," he whispered. And the darkness didn't just move, it fled. A golden explosion of glory tore through the void, separating the shadows from the shine. He called the light day and the darkness night. It was the first time the universe felt the warmth of a beginning. The second day, the great canopy. Then the master raised his staff of living ebony. He reached into the chaos of the waters and pulled them apart. He pushed the heavy mists upward to create the indigo sky, the great savanna of the heavens. He left the deep blue rumbles below. For the first time, there was space to breathe. The atmosphere was a fresh, clean lung, waiting for its first song. The third day, the red earth and the green fire. The architect looked at the endless ocean and gave a command. "Dry land, appear!" Can you hear the grinding of the tectonic plates? The red soil of Africa rose from the surf, steaming and raw. But he wasn't finished. He spoke to the dirt, and the dirt obeyed. Grass like a green carpet unrolled across the plains. Baobabs, ancient and wise, burst from the soil in a heartbeat. Acacia trees shook their leaves. The scent of wet earth and jasmine filled the air. The earth was no longer a grave, it was a garden. The fourth day, the timekeepers. The architect looked up at his indigo canopy. He reached into the fire of his own heart and hung the sun in the sky to rule the day. A golden lion of heat. Then he tossed the moon and the stars like a handful of diamonds across a dark velvet cloth to guard the night. He gave the world its rhythm, the seasons, the years, the promise that even in the dark, there is always a light to guide you home. The fifth day, the symphony of scales and wings. The silence of the world was about to end. The architect pointed to the sea, and suddenly the water was alive. Silver-scaled fish darted through the coral, and great whales sang songs that shook the ocean floor. Then he whistled to the winds. The sky exploded with color. Eagles soared on the thermals, and tiny sunbirds shimmered like living jewels. The world was now a choir, and every creature sang its own part of the master's melody. The sixth day, the crown of creation. On the final day of work, the architect made the beasts of the field, the lions, the elephants, the silent leopards. But then, he stopped. He did something he hadn't done before. He didn't just speak, he knelt. He reached into the red clay of the riverbank. With his own obsidian hands, he molded a shape. He spent time on the curve of the brow, the strength of the hands, the beat of the heart. He wasn't making a creature, he was making a mirror. He leaned down, pressed his lips to the clay, and breathed. Man stood up. The clay became kin. The architect looked at everything he had made, from the smallest star to the first breath of man. The lessons for 2026. Lesson 1. The power of the word. In the beginning, God didn't struggle. He spoke. In your own life in 2026, remember that your words have the power to create or to destroy. If you are in a dark season, do not just complain about the darkness. Speak to it. Command the light to appear in your situation. Lesson 2. The beauty of order. Notice how the architect built the house before he moved the tenant in. He made the light before the plants and the plants before the animals. Your life may feel chaotic right now, but the architect is a God of process. Trust the day you are currently in. You cannot have day 6 until you have survived day 1. Lesson 3. You are the reflection. Of everything made, only you were touched by the Creator's hands. Only you received his direct breath. When the world tries to tell you that you are an accident or a number, look back at the red clay of Eden. You are a masterpiece designed with intention. You are not just in the world. You are the world's crowning glory. Lesson 4. The necessity of rest. On the seventh day, the Master rested. If the Creator of the universe took a breath to admire his work, why are you running until you break? True power is knowing when to work and when to sit in the presence of the architect and say, "It is good." The world was born in beauty.